Yeah, I think the mentality is always the same. I think the group is in a really good place at the minute. I think we've all been, I wouldn't say overwhelmed, but pleasantly surprised by the excitement and the buzz around the team and in the stadiums, and pulling up here with 5,500 fans ready to watch a training session is incredible. And I just think that we're in a good place mentally right now. It's been a long 2 weeks, a hard 2 weeks, but guys are in a great position, mentally, physically, emotionally, and ready to get going. I think there's always room, in areas to improve. Obviously not happy with, goals conceded. I think that's always a big one that everybody, including ourselves, will look at. Connections and communication can always be even better than they are, and that solves a lot of problems. So, we'll look at video over the next couple of days and understand where we can be tighter, where we can be more connected. But if you look at the Germany game compared to the Senegal game, it was an improvement. And so we'll look at areas and make sure that everything's tightened and buttoned up going into Friday. Don't know why you're apologizing. He's buzzing not having to answer any questions. Look at him sitting there smiling. No, I think just his what we would say in England is how sharp he is. Just his movements left, right. Being able to hold the ball up and bring other players in, and then his movement in behind. Just being in positions and getting himself into goal scoring positions is something that we've been crying out for a long time with the team and the group, and he brings that. He's I'll tell you what, he's probably the most annoying striker for me to have to deal with in training, because he's so quick with his movements, physically strong and able to seemingly glide past people. So you're welcome. Glowing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Obviously the other guys are different. They're all different profiles. They're all different, types of players. You saw Pepe bring in, in the Senegal game, bring in Christian into the play and being able to lay balls off and then in addition his own assist in that way. So, they all bring different challenges, and I think that's, as defenders, you want to see those. For us anyway, in training, you want to be able to play against different types of strikers, and they all bring a little bit something different.
Yeah, I think I'm extremely proud. I feel like, my individual journey is a bit full circle now, approaching the World Cup, especially with the World Cup being here, the opportunity to represent my nation, in front of a home crowd is going to be something special for me, for my family, for my friends, and, for the team. So I'm definitely looking forward to it and very proud.
You say it's not our first rodeo, but it's our first one on home soil, so it kind of is our first rodeo. In a way, it's exciting. It's not. Again, I'm old enough that I remember bits and pieces of 1994. So, I've tried to tell guys and tried to convey the message in the media that this is it's a once in a career opportunity. And that with that comes, more expectation, more pressure, but at the same time, we have to enjoy it. There's nobody putting more expectation and more pressure on us than ourselves. And that's the way that it should be. And for me, it's about just opening your eyes and taking everything in, because this is unique. This is different. This is completely different from anything that any of us as players has experienced. So take it in, enjoy it, embrace everything that it is, because it's so unique, it's so special, and it's not something that we'll ever get to do again. No, I think the spark actually started in Gold Cup, to be completely honest with you. There were a few get-togethers in those games as well. So I think the Paraguay game, as you mentioned at the end, there was a little bit extra. It had the feel of the game meant something more. And now you look at it and you think, okay, it was a perfect test for us in that moment. So, it's good that we've had that experience, but you come to this point, it's a World Cup and it doesn't, that game, yes, there are things you can glean from it and learn, but it's kind of in the rearview mirror. You can't really sit there and think, okay, yeah, it was it's perfect. We know what to expect. It's going to be this way. It's going to be that way, and it's not, because it's a World Cup. It's everything's clean, everything's new, everything's you start from scratch. So we have to be prepared for everything. But it's as you said, it was a good, I think, for the guys that were in that camp and a part of that a part of that moment. I think was a good a good learning experience and a good coming together for the group that was that was there. I don't have the answers to that. I haven't gone into a deep analysis and looked at all the reasons. Fortunately, I'm on the playing side and have fully focused on playing and being a part of a program for for the last 16 years and just contributing on the playing side. I think there's any number of things that I think people can look at and analyze, but for me, because I'm still playing, I haven't. But it is something that I'm sure people are trying to understand. But I think at the same time, you look at, as you said, the explosion on the youth level and how many kids are gravitating towards the sport and wanting to play the game. I think it bodes well for the future, obviously. But I don't have an answer for your question, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to start to feel more real to me when I'm lining up and preparing to go out onto the pitch. And I'm hearing the fans shouting and screaming. So I definitely think it'll be real to me. The closer I get, but this is the first opportunity for me to play in the World Cup. So I don't really have any expectations. And I'm just trying to stay present, stay in the moment, soak everything in. And I'm enjoying the experience so far, and I hope it can be a really memorable one. Yeah, I think every game's different. I think in the game against Senegal, I had a good amount of opportunities. I felt involved in a short amount of time, and as a striker, that's what you wanna do. That's how you wanna feel. The game against Germany was a bit more difficult. Of course, they're a better opposition, so that's to be expected. But I'm just trying to go into these games. Every game's going to be a completely new game. Every game's going to be a fight. You're going to need to be hungry, stay focused, and I have faith in my teammates, myself, that we can definitely create opportunities and I can finish them off.
Yeah, obviously driving in, we're super impressive. We get to train in an actual stadium with a good pitch. The support that we just pulled up to with all the kids out there is amazing. But listen, you want to feel like you have a good home base, right? You have a place that you can not have to worry about all the little details off the field. Everything's been taken care of for us. We're very, very much spoiled in that way as players, and that allows us to focus on everything that we need to, in whether it be in the gym or on the field. So really looking forward to being here over the next 3 weeks, and I think the guys are excited to get going, and I think Flo just got on the golf cart and rode over here, but I was able to step inside really quick, and everything's top notch, and like I said, we're all looking forward to being here and getting settled in and really getting to work and making sure that we're ready for the first game.
Yeah, I just remember just immense amount of appreciation from the fans. I didn't realize at that moment how big football, soccer was out here in America, and to really feel that in full force was something that was inspirational for me. It made my decision easier, and as I said before, it's just coming to a full circle moment, being able to perform on the biggest stage and give back to the fans. That's something I'm looking forward to do, and yeah, I'm just happy I have the opportunity to be able to do that.
Ya que nos encontraste,
No nos pierdas.
Suscríbete al canal de YouTube de Telemundo Deportes.